Yo, JD here, and as you can see by the title of this video, this is my F1 esports race around Spain, Catalonia, and this is the third attempt. I've been at every single one so far. I finished 4th in the first, 5th in the second at Baku, and now I qualified on pole position for this one on the Xbox platform, and this is the biggest race I've ever done in my online racing career. This is the race, my best chance now to get into the pro draft, to be possibly signed by an F1 team. And I did so much practice for this. I literally spent the last 2 days dedicating my life to doing this and just testing in all conditions, every setup combination, every strategy, even though it's only at 25%. I just put everything into this because I think unless you're new here, that it just means so much to me to really just compete at the highest level, because I've been racing for so many years in AOR, Apex Online Racing and TRL, and competing is what I absolutely just love and breathe to do, and to get the chance to race against the very best in the world on a LAN platform, which I was unable to do last year. That's exactly what I do, because you can see it's raining and yeah.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
So as you can see, it is raining around Spain, and you can see I've disabled my force feedback, and the reason for that, as you obviously have guessed, I'm using the controller for this, and I didn't want to do this at all. I've done all my practice on the wheel. I tested all conditions of the wheel and the controller. The fact of the matter is, I have a very, very strong pace in full wet conditions on the controller, and this being my biggest opportunity, I didn't want to throw that away. I want to, instead of using a pistol, I want to use a minigun, and my pace with the controller in the full wet, there was no option for me. I had to do this to give myself the best possible chance, and we're coming into this race now, pole position, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're going to go now, getting a perfect start. That's literally the perfect start. I could have not gotten any better start. I practiced my starts so much before this race, and we got a 2 car length gap, so we're going to take the racing line, as Bono Huis has actually gone down the inside. He messaged me after the race. That was a complete misjudgment and braking for him, so luckily he didn't get any damage, and he didn't take me out the race, because that could have been just catastrophic really. And now you can see a little bit of a tweak in my setup, which the flying fin really helped me out with. He gave me a lot of advice on the revs for the start as well, so I really do appreciate that. And as I said, I've just been practicing all day yesterday and the day before as well. Just dedicated my life to this, doing so many sessions all on the wheel. And I know probably a few of you guys are going to be very disappointed that I have used a controller. I really didn't. I know you probably don't believe me, but I wanted a dry race, to be honest, because I just wanted to do it on there, because I felt I had the pace to win in the dry with the wheel. But if anyone knows me, I know what I can do on that device, and on both devices I feel I'm pretty much almost on the same speed on both. I'm probably quicker on the wheel in the dry, but I want to give myself the best possible chance, and I hope you can understand that. If you want to hate on it, that's completely up to you, but I want to give my best possible chance, because I've got the world record in the wet round here. I might have been taken out on the controller, and this is probably my best track in the wet, so I want to give myself the best possible chance to get through to the pro draft and then compete against the very best using the wheel, which I know I can do. And yeah, I just wanted to give myself the best possible chance, and that is literally the reason. Hopefully if you're in my position, you can see where I'm coming from and you do the same thing. But believe me, don't think this is easy. If you want to try it for yourself, it's very difficult still. I had to push so hard, because the talent that I've got here, Bono Huis, probably the best online sim racer of all time, probably, as I said previously before the race, he's one of my idols. So to be on the same race as the same lobby as him is just something in itself. But now all I was thinking of now was just pushing as hard as possible, not thinking about how many laps there were left to go, literally taking it corner by corner. And hopefully you can learn something by watching this video of how to be consistent, because I was super consistent in this race and just the wet driving in general. And this is probably the best drive I've done in quite some time, because I just put so much effort into this. I was so hungry to get through. As I said, it means so much for me to get through, and I was going to do anything it takes to get through to that. And the messages that I've been having, I won't spoil the result or anything, but the messages before or after the race, it means so much to me, and I wish I could meet everyone who sends me those messages. I really do. But yeah, moving back to the race now, just pushing as hard as we can. I think we're going to stay on board for pretty much the first 3 laps, because this is where I really feel was a big decider of this race. And right now I'm just really just in the zone, not thinking about anything apart from the next bit of tarmac in front of me, the next braking point, changing the fuel at the right time, using the lean mix, as you can see on traction zones. I feel it's very important. In the full wet especially, you definitely need to use lean mix. In intermediates you can get away with standard, but lean mix in full wet conditions gives you a really good slingshot of each corner. And going back into rich at times, not really necessary here, then leaving it standard for this corner. But on heavy traction zones you really do want to be in lean and using rich on the straights as much as possible. And I felt I was driving my absolute best at this point. I could not be driving any faster at all, and I just really wanted to put in a performance of my life, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing everything I can, just praying that I would not disconnect or anything at all. I was really hoping for, but to be honest, I tried to just block that out of my mind and just go for it, really. Just go for it as fast as possible. That's literally all I was thinking. And coming across this chicane here, no corner cutting at all, as we've seen in the Esports qualifying event. But coming through here now, we set a 33.5, which is a pretty quick lap. But I know there's still a little bit of time left in the tank now, and I think this is going to be the start of my best lap of the race. As you can see the gap, we were just being really consistent. You can see a 33.3 now, going 2 tenths faster. I think actually that wasn't my best lap. This is now my best lap coming up now, but you can see we were just extending the gap at this point by over about 5 to 8 tenths a lap, I'd say, at this point. And the pace was just next level. Probably the best, even for me on the controller, probably the best wet performance driving I've done, even when I won AOR in the wet last season. Probably even better driving than that. So I couldn't have asked for it to come at the perfect time for me, this kind of performance in myself. And yeah, as I said, I was just really hungry to show what I can do, because I've really been enjoying my progression so much, and I know what I'm capable of, and I just want to keep pushing for that, and just to get to where I need to be in order to do that. So I really do hope you understand that. Support me. If you don't, that's completely up to you, but I really do appreciate everyone who watches my videos. So that hopefully you can continue to be entertained and learn things, and hopefully I can inspire you to play these games in future, because that's, at the end of the day, that's really what my mission's about on this channel. So you can see this is a really nice lap here, really well put together, as you can see, using the third gear through here. Let the engine do the braking. I think the gap is 7.3 seconds after the line lap, so I just couldn't have asked for any better. I only made one mistake, and that was in the first lap going into the sector 3 split, went a little bit deep. Apart from that, literally haven't put a wheel wrong in this race at all. So come across the line now, we'll be able to see what time this is. This is a 33.2, and that was really quick. It's a really nice lap, and I think we're just going to be able to see the gap, or just the lap times I was doing every single lap now. And I think at this point, the gap was actually going up by just a few tenths or so lap, because I actually lost, I think it was on lap 10. Even right now, I had no game sound at this point at all, because I've just purchased my A50 Astro headset, and the charge actually ran out. I was trying to charge it half an hour before the race, but it just died, and at this point I had no sound. But luckily I had the vibration, the feeling, and just the muscle memory just to remember where to brake, and I was taking it a little bit easy. I was still not trying to set a fastest lap all the time. As you can see, we're doing still reasonably quick laps, 33.4. It didn't, to be honest, it didn't really actually make any difference to me, and I think if it was in a dry, it'd be a different scenario. But the muscle memory just in the wet, and just the feeling, you kind of have the vibration, you know when you're on a limit, when you're about to lock up. I just kind of knew where to brake, and just really just got into a rhythm, and just really just put it out of my head, and just focus on the task at hand on each corner, trying not to worry about it, because I could see the gap I had. I just really wanted to now just bring it home, but still we were driving really, really well. And this is another lap which was potentially almost beat my fastest lap, which lost a little bit of time in the last sector because I think my tyres were starting to go off. Didn't need to make any pit stops in this, because if you're on wet tyres, you don't need to make any stops, and the wets are reasonably durable. I think at this point it's on 40 or 50%, so easily making it to the end of the race. And be able to see we're actually purple by almost a tenth and a half going through here now, so still driving very, very well considering the headset issue. But as I said, that, to be honest, I almost just forgot about that after a lap. I just was just so focused on just braking at the right time, just memorizing my references I had for every single corner, and just how I use the triggers and everything. I was just really just focusing on that, and just completely in the zone at this point. So come across the line, getting a good exit up here using the lean mix off that chicane, and we got a little bit slower, 33.4, lost a little bit of time in that last chicane compared to my best lap, but I think it's because just the rears of my tyres are just now starting to go up. But we're going to stay on board now, I think, to the end of the race, and you can be able to see the gap behind me. The gap is now about 9-ish seconds, and I have to say Bono Huis, someone who doesn't really play F1 games, I know he started to recently, but I was practicing with him in the dry, and his pace was absolutely insane. So there's no doubt the reason why he's one of the best online virtual drivers in the world. There's absolutely no doubt, and there's someone I inspired to be like in the future, and hopefully I can race him many, many more times. Hopefully on sim racing games as well, games like R Factor, iRacing, those kind of games. I'd love to race against him on there. But it was a real honour to speak to him and actually practice with him. And as you may have guessed now, without trying to spoil it too much, the last lap, having a 9-second lead, it's just a case of really just bringing it home now. Just not hoping, just praying for no disconnection or anything at all. It's still going purple at this point as well. We've still got a little bit of fuel left, so under-fueled the car because I knew I'd be using lean quite a bit in this race, because I know how I drive in the wet, and I felt that definitely helped me quite a bit. As well as the setup, same as my dry setup, I just changed the distance between the wings. Actually went lower on the front wing, just to give it a little bit more stability, and higher in the rear wing. So straight line speed was good, and the traction was really good as well. Went a click down on the ballast just to try not to over rotate the car, because 11 ballast in the wet I don't think really works too well. Maybe I could have opted for like 111.11 or 211.11. I could have done that, but most of my running was in the dry, where I used 4.9 wings with 11 ballast, and that was working very, very well for me. So it's kind of a shame, because I really did want the dry, but it could have been better for me, to be honest, in these conditions on this track. And yeah, the race, it just went absolutely perfectly for me. So we're going to come across the line to win this Esports round 3 at China, and that is me qualified into the F1 Esports Pro Draft, where it will take place in July. So that was it. I was just so happy of that. Let me know what you think. If you want to add anything, any comment, they want to ask me anything, I'll try and get back to everyone's comments. As I said, I really didn't want to change it at all, and for AOR I will never be changing it at all. And obviously for the Esports it's always on the wheel, but hopefully you can understand the reason why, because I wanted to give myself the best possible opportunity in my animation, and the pace I had, even in practice comparable, it was a no-brainer for me. If I wanted to get through, it would have been too much of a risk. I'd still believe I could have done it at all. I did have the pace still, even with the other device, but I just really wanted to give myself the best chance with everything else at stake. So I really do hope you understand that. So Thank you so much for watching and support on my channel recently, and all the messages I've been getting. It's so humbling to me. I just couldn't have been happier after yesterday. Hope you're having a great day, and I will catch you next video. Peace.